Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Efrain Rodriguez Jr. Show. After 5 days, finally I'm back. Hey, who missed me? I don't know. I did miss myself every time I do these videos. I go and watch them, but I was away for July weekend long. I really play a lot on my phone on the computer, and I really did that. It was awesome for me. I really enjoy it. It was stressful sometimes, but listen, what is life? Life, it's what we make of them. So if we don't make something good, it can happen what it happens in this news that I'm about to tell you today. I brought you four different news today that there are half and half. I will say some of them are sad. The one that I'm gonna say now is sad. The next one is kind of happy. After that one, we are going to the sad one again, and the last one is horrible. It's horrible, but hey, I'm here to give my opinion on these issues on the island, and also we go across the pond. This one is from noticentroguapa.tv online. Students sentenced to 3 years in prison for spreading false information. Huh. The mystery of truth. Remember that? Remember that? This is insane. Where was this? Oh, not in America. But if we don't watch the government, this can be happening right in the backyard of where you live in. In Egypt, Egyptian student was sentenced on Monday to 3 years in prison by the exceptional court in Cairo for spreading false information, according to the human rights organization. Ahmed Samir, who was studying at university in Austria, was arrested in February 2021 when he was visiting his family in Egypt. This 31-year-old student was sentenced in June for 4 years in a prison for, according to Amnesty International, posts on social network criticizing Egyptian prisons and management of the pandemic. Oh, can you imagine that happening here in the United States of America? Insane, right? This is what happened when the government gets so big and out of control. Ridiculous. You cannot even say something against something like that because you're in trouble. Keep your mouth shut. You don't say anything because, they can be mad at you and they put you in prison. This is horrible. After a new trial, Samir was sentenced on Monday to 3 years. Oh, from four years, the sentence went down 1 year. Oh, they're so lenient. They're so nice. 3 years. 3 years. A student. So when he gets out, he probably gotta go back to Austria to continue studying. I mean, 3 years, 31, he'll be 3 years, 34, 35. I mean, this is crazy. This is crazy. By the time he start over again, he'll be 35. I don't know what he's studying over there. By the time he probably finished college, he'll be 40. He probably gonna get married at 40, having kids. Oh, man, this is bad for him. 3 years in prison for this. And guess what? They do this to the opposition. After a new trial was sentenced on Monday to 3 years prison for spreading false information on social media. A charge often used in Egypt against opponents. It's like the Democrats throwing the people in jail for what they did in January 6th, and they're still there. They're still there. Since January 6th, 6 months just went by, and no, it was a year and a half ago. Yeah, my bad. A year and a half ago. And still in prison. For what? For being a, you know, breaking in. Some people, because they have connection, they just get a slap in the wrist and don't do it again. But this is what happened when the parties get this with the law and their side because they managed the law. And if they don't agree what you're saying, I'll put you in jail. You know how many people they had this way in Egypt? 61,000 of them for disagreeing with the government. Insane. Insane. And this can be happening here in your backyard if you don't wake up. If you don't call them in their whatever it is that they're doing. It's crazy. Thank God. Thank God this happened. This is from the newspaper New Day, Andy. Oil prices fall due to fear of economic recession broke below 100 barrel for the first time since May. This price in Texas Intermediate oil WTI collapsed on Tuesday due to fear an economic recession and loss of a 100 barrier a few hours after closing of trading session. At 11:40 a.m. in New York, WTI futures for August delivery fell more than 9% to settle at 98.42 a barrel. The first since May 11 that benchmark oil in the United States is trading below 100. As a result, a sharp decline that analysts linked to growing fear of the recession that could damage demand for crude oil. There's a lot in here to talk about, but all you're gonna hear in the news and in the papers, it just, they just put the information in a way that they put it so seasoned, so like, keeping you in the box. Today I was just talking to a person today saying, did you saw this movie, The Matrix? And she told me, yeah, I remember the part of the bullets. I mean, I'm dressed in black today. I can be like from The Matrix, so but I'm out of The Matrix, so I took the red pill, I guess. So when we hear all these things, and they try to keep the population, because the population can do a lot of damage to the whole system. It can take the system down. See what happened in Egypt a little while ago? A coup. And now, if the government is not aligned and they cannot control this, it can happen here as well. That's why we keep the arms, because if the government gets so big, we can just put them in the place. I'm just saying, I'm not saying something revolutionary, but that was the way that we actually celebrate yesterday, the 4th of July, independence from the biggest place, in UK. So hello to all my UK's friends in TikToks. So listen, it happened. So a bunch of farmers, group themselves and they say, no, we're not going to continue under this tyranny. And it looks like it's repeating the story again. The news that I just told you before, it was just like how the government can get so much power and can throw people because you're disagreeing with the government. Now, Biden, he promised this. This is what we're living right now. He did promise. So I got to give him credit because there was a promise on his campaign. When he talked to this girl, I promise you that we are going to end. So he probably don't realize, having one of this, it's not a couple bucks, and especially on the sea. with the salt and everything that around that alone, just to extract the oil out of the ground, that's a big construction. So close the faucet. We had the pandemic, and all you can say now, we had this rising in prices because of Russia. Now they are lowering because of fear of not more people really going down on a recession. That a lot of economists are looking that we are heading that direction. This is gonna be a break. So how long it will take for that to be priced out into the gas? Because I'll fill up with $50 again. But now $50 doesn't even reach half of my tank. And I got a big truck, 8-cylinder. So I know when people see me driving in my big truck, say like, man, that guy has this bank behind his trunk. Because I had to really spend a lot of money just to drive around. You know, sometimes I decide not to go certain places because I gotta save on gas. But it goes like that. And I know more people are experiencing that. So what we see here, it is good. It is good. But why you think the pandemic took us into a point that not a lot of people were driving, so there was not a lot of production. Now you have a president coming in that is gonna end up this. So do you think people are gonna invest in something that the government wants to destroy? And all I can hear on the news channel here in Puerto Rico and papers, everything, Russia, Russia, Russia. They are like pericos repeating after somebody else is saying something. And I'm not saying here is the best channel ever, but if I know something, so I'm gonna share it with you. You don't agree with me. This is my opinion. You don't have to agree with my opinion. But the facts are that Biden created this. What we are living today, it was Biden's fault. All he had to do to probably be there for 4 years or maybe 8 years, do nothing. But because he promised it was going to turn into Green New Deal, so he did all that. It's ridiculous. When you go to charge your electric car, and they're not cheap, you know, what about my truck? So do I need to change I bought my truck to keep that truck for the rest of my life. Because it's a big truck and it will last me long if I take care of him. Very, very good, I guess. But now I had to be worried about paying $10 in gas because he's deciding to go in green. Why did I did to deserve this? I didn't even vote for the guy. So he got 81 million votes, but his policy, he promised this. I bet you the 81 million are saying like, whoa, it sounds good in words, but in reality, I'm broke. It's like now the inflation. They send all that money to the people. And with the inflation cost, people are paying so much more, that money is gone 6 months. That money that government sent you, 6 months, it was gone because we are paying so much more because of the inflation. And they continue printing money. I don't know. I'm not even an economist, but I see that. I report it here, and all I can say is we need to elect better people that really works for the people, not this people that want to live in an utopia. Green Deal in Puerto Rico, the wind and the solar only supply the 3%. And you know how much money you spend for one of those wind towels? So much money that by the time that you probably get it, I mean, it's like we couldn't do something better with some probably nuclear plants, clean ones around the island to supply that. But no, we had to 100 by 35, meaning 35 by 100 miles on an island in Puerto Rico. We had to go monkey see, monkey do. I saw this guy's opinion, and I say, man, you my hero, because the way he talked in that opinion was like putting the nail on the coffin. And Puerto Ricans mentality and government, and we are so disconnect that what I'm about to tell you next is gonna tell you how disconnect we are. And this guy, Tatito Hernandez, from the spokesperson newspaper El Vocero, listen to this one, because it has a relation for what I just ended. The president of the chamber proposes to use 950 million that Luma Energy has to lower the cost of electricity. Rafael Tatito Hernandez asked Governor Pedro Pierluisi to join the claim. One day before extraordinary sessions begin, the president of the House of Representatives, Rafael Tatito Hernandez, proposed today the demand of Luma Energy to company use some 950 million, it's like money laying around there in coffers, which he assures belong to Puerto Rican taxpayers, to reduce the bill, my bad. In this context, Hernandez called on Governor Pedro Pierluisi to join the claim to demand Luma, the company in charge of managing Puerto Rico energy transition and distribution system, reduce the cost of energy in the island with this 950 million. Listen, all we do is like, give me, and give me more. And the politicians here in Puerto Rico are no better. They only know how to do the same thing. I just brought an idea about a clean nuclear plant in the island. I mean, and all we can do is give the money to the people. So when this is gonna stop? When we are gonna do something for the island, that we are self-dependent, that we can really say, you know what, I can sustain myself because the island can live of itself proportions, self money that it comes because we create jobs, we create health companies to grow business. 100 by 35 miles, it's large. I mean, if you go around, there's a lot of empty place without building anything, or agriculture, or so many different things that we can be doing. Before we had the chickens in, I don't know, in Guamo, like all those pollos picu, and now it's toricos, like picu, I don't know, disappear or something. All these places in Los Llanos with birds and everything that we used to do this ourselves. It's like everything is gone. It's like, where is the government if you're gonna do something to help to create this job that it can stay in the island and that be beautiful? But no. Oh, wait. Oh, there's a piggy bag in there. 950 million. Let's see if they can just release it to give it back to the people. And it's amazing. Because if you do it there, maybe in the future you're gonna do it again and again and again and again. And when it's gonna stop? You need to stop, Tatito. This is bull. Is that the mentality did you have and you are running the chamber? It's like, oh my goodness. This is so really so close to take it from the rich and give it to the poor. Redistribution. Listen, you're not too far from Cuba. Actually, it's like a couple more miles that direction. And in reality, it's like what you're proposing here is the most insane propose. I don't know. I don't know. Let me just leave it there because this is our politicians for real. This picture, sorry about this, I know. A man was arrested for pushing his 77-year-old grandmother. I heard that news and I was like, no way, Jose. Didn't happen. But yeah, and this was from first hour. A man was arrested yesterday, Monday, for assaulting his grandmother in San Antonio neighborhoods in Quebradillas, reporters the press office of the police bureau. Agent Josue Mercado, assigned to the district of Quebradilla, arrived to the scene around 10 p.m. to investigate the complaint and placed a 27-year-old Adrian Sanchez Jimenez under arrest. He alleged pushed his 70-year-old grandmother with his hands and then broke a television on her. So it was not enough to push her. I mean, woman, so fragile. And then he threw a television on her. I saw the comments on the comment section on this news. I was like, what direction we are going? Because even the people, it's like eye for an eye. Everybody on the comment section on the newspaper was eye for an eye. And all I can say is we have a problem with drugs, and people lose their mind, lose their cool, everything. Drugs make you do things that after you off of the drugs, you'll be like, oh, did that? I remember a guy used to drink and on the patronales run over the cars like crazy. Alcohol do that to you. And then you go like, what? I did that? We have a problem. And until we as a society in Puerto Rico doesn't realize, we not realize that we are so far away from God. I just heard on the news, not the news, datos son datos. They're affirming medication for the transgender kids. And they had this guy and they're talking. And I'm like, whoa. I said that into my mother and Bionette. And they were like, oh, really? And my aunt Titinana, they were like, no way. And it's like, it is happening now, but we allowed this to happen. You know, it's incredible, but it's happening in our society, and the government is trying to push this like it's normal. Where we're gonna go with this? Leave your comment if you have any kind of comments. A comment box is always open. So thank you for being here with us from Villalba, Puerto Rico. Your host, Efrain Rodriguez Jr. in Efrain Rodriguez Jr. Show. I'll see you tomorrow. God bless.